the tattoos. This is terrifying. You know what? This is reminding me a lot of the Stronsay Beast. You guys ever heard of the Stronsay Beast?
No, what is it?
No.
It's like
is this really the time for a story? We're about to get eaten by a giant shark. You're going to tell a fucking story?
I want to, send us off. Like we'll die as we live. You know?
Okay.
Wait a minute, Kaz. Are we in imminent danger of being eaten by this Stronsay Beast?
Probably not the Stronsay Beast. Definitely not the Stronsay Beast. Whatever's careening towards us right now is not that, but reminds me of that.
So you think we have time for a story?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I would love. Please
settle in.
Let me know.
If you don't, if you don't mind, please.
Just one last time for you guys.
Hashtag Stronsay Beast. How do you spell that?
STRONSEYBEAST.
I didn't see that last part coming. I did not.
No.
That is odd.
So it's Scottish. It's probably like Stronsay Beast.
No longer up.
That's your Scottish
What?
Stronsay Beast.
No, it was perfect. It was great.
Man.
No.
The shores of Stronsay
No.
on the Orkney Islands in Scotland, which I don't know. It's off of Scotland.
I feel like it would be like roll your R. Like think how Sir Patrick Stewart would do it. Like Stronsay.
That sounds Russian almost.
Wait,
Do it again.
Angela, do that
What is
again.
it
That
called
was
again?
fucking awesome.
Stronsay.
Gotta
There you go.
roll Stronsay.
Oh, there you go.
We are
How would
offending
Picard
all of our
say
Scottish
it? How would he do it?
This particular beast was found washed on the shore of Stronsay and Orkney in the Orkney Islands of Scotland on September 25th, 1808. So it's unlikely that this thing is the same thing.
Real.
But it was at the time caused commotion. It was like this unknown creature washed up on the shore, and the people, small fishing village kind of area, people were unnerved by this seemingly giant like sea serpent thing that washed up on their shores. So I'm quoting from the Vintage News, an article about the Stronsay Beast. You can look it up. On the morning of September 25th, 1808, a local fisherman named
1808?
1808.
A while ago.
A local fisherman called John Peace was fishing just off the coast at Rothyslum.
Couldn't spell it. I hate to do that to you, but
Other countries don't know how to name things right. Have you noticed that? Other countries just don't know how to name stuff right.
like hello vowels.
Yeah, they put all these weird letters together that don't go together. Get it right, other countries.
It was off the coast of Rothyslum Head. Spelled
word.
Rothy and then Shalom. In the southeast...
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
In the southeast of the island of
It's just two
Stronsay.
giant Scottish characters.
When he looked at the shore, he noticed some seabirds gathering around what appeared to be an animal carcass lying on the rocks. Seabirds. Seabirds. The birds that were near him.
Seabirds.
Why is that oddly funny?
I don't know. It's good. I mean, it
Seabirds
is
are a normal
Like
thing.
seagulls, like you would say, but like.
But maybe they were
Seabirds.
seagulls. They give it
Different.
albatrosses,
All
What
right,
are the ones with
waterfowl.
Pelicans.
I was just thinking.
But those could be fresh or salt.
I was just thinking.
It's a
like,
very specific article.
He's like,
I
Seabirds.
see seabirds over there on that animal carcass
Seabirds
washed up
were
on the rocks.
reported.
John was intrigued. He rowed his boat closer to the shore. George Shearer, another local, was also present in the vicinity and observed him. When he was close enough, Peace saw the remains of something that he had never encountered before. The animal was big, with a serpent-like body, long neck, and 3 pairs of legs. Pairs of legs. This was the first one in a series of similar beastly carcasses found on the shores of carcasses.
Carcasses? Carson Daly.
well, I mean, it would.
So this was the first one in a series of similar beastly creatures found on Stronsay. So multiple weird things wash up on this place. It might, ocean currents. Things are taking, gross carcasses to this beach. So the carcass that John found was in a place that was hard to reach because of the rocks and the waves, etc. But about 10 days later, the high tide and winds brought it actually to the shore. At this time, George Shearer, the other animal carcass seabird watcher guy out there.
Yeah.
Animal carcass seabird watcher. Very specific hobby.
So these 2 guys walk up to the big, strange carcass thing. Along with 3 other men. They studied the creature in detail. They took measurements, etc.
They poked it with a stick.
Right. 1808
the
measurements.
first thing they did.
Yeah. I
mean,
the
you have
first
to.
thing. So it's good. Give me a
Always
stick.
do How many- that.
Hand me my science
Right, exactly.
stick.
What are you gonna walk up and just like smush its cheeks? No, you're gonna knock.
Would you a sea monster who's on the
Well, let me rub its belly, and maybe goes.
See if you get one of those 3 legs going.
3 other men joined in the examination of the sea monster. So it was like, a motley crew of Scottish gentlemen in 1808 checking out this sea monster.
Just poking away.
They met. So, no, they actually did some science here. They took measurements. It was 55 feet long. The neck alone was 10.3 feet long.
Perfect.
Part of the tail was missing. So this 55 feet does not include what would have been the tail.
Damn.
Maybe it was like pecked at by predators or scavengers.
Correct. This is
maybe it could drop its tail like a lizard.
Seabirds tore it apart.
Vicious seabird.
It was about 4 feet wide and at a circumference of about 10 feet.
That's a big fucker.
That's what scares me Daddy the most. I've realized over the years. He's like, I don't care how long it is, but if it's wide.
It's all about girth.
He's afraid of the girth.
Girthophobia.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God.
So George, while they were examining it, George noticed that the head of this thing was similar to a sheep's head and had eyes bigger than a seal. So again, we've got the measurements of Scottish, 1808.
55
head
long.
like a sheep's head, eyes bigger than a seal's, like smaller than,
the only animals they've ever
horse.
seen. Yeah,
Right.
so I'm just comparing it
Smaller
to
than a
just
horse, bigger than a seal, bigger than my eyes.
The only
Taller than
animals
Bobby.
on their island.
But also 4 feet wide.
The color of it,
That's crazy, right?
and 10 feet around,
Yeah.
which is it's a girthy
creature.
beast.
Wow.
It's a girthy beast.
The color of its skin was gray and rough to the touch.
Like a sharky.
The creature had 6 limbs resembling paws or wings,
Not like a spider.
and bristly long hair was growing from its shoulders all the way to its tail. The bristles glowed in the dark when they were wet,
What?
and the insides of the beast were red.
That's an alien. That's not a monster. That's an alien.
By the end of September, the news about the sea monster from Stronsay had spread across the country. News reporters who were interested about the creature came to take statements from witnesses. With no means to keep the remains fresh, all that was left of the beast had rotted away. To verify the truthfulness of their story, witnesses were taken to Kirkwall, the capital of the Orkneys, where they had to swear an oath to the magistrate. So this was such a big deal that dudes who said they saw it had to go stand in front of a judge. What, dude, did it really have fucking hair that glowed in the dark? Are you serious? For real. I'll send you to jail if we find out it wasn't a thing.
Was there any bioluminescent phytoplankton?
I don't think they exist
This
in
guy.
that region. No, I don't think
What
they
kind of
exist
a
in that
question
region.
is
then.
that?
This guy over here. You got time to work on this shit, or just do it?
I'm sorry.
It's off the dome. That was just
Are journalists
They
just
had
going to give up now?
They had
or-
bioluminescent stuff.
Fur. The fur was bioluminescent.
The fur said it glowed in the dark, but I don't know if it was due to
It had glow-in-the-dark shoulder hair,
phytoplankton or
which
not.
is scary.
Well, it could have had
Could have
things living
phytoplankton.
living in its
Could have been
hair.
phytoplankton. That's
Yes.
not a
Possible, I guess. They didn't test for phytoplankton back in the 1700s.
But there
or
are
whatever.
literally only 2 places in the world that have that:
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach and Puerto Rico.
And you've been to one of those places, right?
Yes.
Look at that. Of course you have.
It was in Myrtle Beach,
Of course
right?
you have.
No, they have it. Is that on Merritt Island too?
Merritt Island,
Merritt
that's right.
Island.
It's not
Yeah,
Myrtle Beach.
I know
Fuck
what you
that.
meant.
So there's
but
3
yeah.
places.
No, not in Myrtle Beach.
It's
I
not
know what
Myrtle
he
Beach.
meant. It was Merritt
Merritt
Island.
Island.
Yes.
There's a distance between Myrtle Beach and...
At the M and
What
the
are
T.
you, the fucking
M and the T and the
bioluminescent
beach.
fucking...
No,
I
that's
got
me
him.
Fritz's.
I just want to say this. Any creature that has evolved to light its own body on fire, like deep sea creatures or even just
The
June
anglerfish.
bugs, fuck that shit. That's the devil's work. Anyone who can light itself up like a light bulb like that
Fuck
is
that, what octopuses and octopi
Octopi.
and,
That's
octopi
crazy.
and cuttlefish can
Octopod.
do?
Octopi.
Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish.
Those are Cthulhu, man.
Yes.
Cuttlefish are vicious.
They're out of
With
this
their little
earth.
beaks.
They're
Yeah.
aliens. The way
Yeah.
they can just pulse with color.
Yeah, did you see the one where it was dreaming? Did we already talk about
Yeah.
that? That shit was tight.
Insane.
cuddle time.
In November 1808, the information about the beast came to the Natural History Society, or the Wernerian Society of Edinburgh. After reading all of the gathered information, they decided that it didn't fit any known species that they had documented. They finally decided to record it as a new species, probably in the family of sea serpents. Scottish anatomist John Barclay named it
He played for the Suns.
Halsidrus pontipidani.
Once again, people don't know how to name stuff. Why name it Fred or something?
Fred the sea snake.
Fred the sea snake. There you go. We can all say that.
Halsidrus Pontopidani.
That's just rude to name something.
Oh, it was after someone named Pontopidian sea snake. So it was like a fictitious.
There's a guy named his last name was Sea Snake.
Pontopidian.
Pontopidian?
No, it's
Pontopidian
his
Sea
sea snake.
You can't prove me wrong. You can't.
So they got all the measurements. They sent it to the National Historical Society. They come back and say, no, we don't know what the fuck this is. This is nothing. But we're making a new thing for this. So they make a new thing. Hadrilisis Pontopidani. And then...
Which sounds crazy.
Only later, which is an interesting bit of revisionist history that happens, the anatomist Sir Everard Home revisited the case,
Yeah, good name.
suspected the measurements of the beast, and declared that it must have been around 36 feet instead of 55 feet.
What?
And that it must have been only about 36 feet and about half the size around.
Was it bloated?
He recognized it as a decaying basking shark.
Oh, my
According
God.
to
okay.
Home, basking sharks can look like strange Jurassic creatures while they're decaying. Another scientist named Professor John Goodsir, who has the fakest fucking name of all time.
Hello, I'm John.
John Goodsir, and I'm here to review your, technical measurements of the sea beast.
What did his family do in the past? They were just good?
Good, sir.
Good, sir.
It just like the fucking, just like a butler or something, like a Jeeves.
Their actual name at like Ellis Island was like, your last name is Turd Suck? And they're like, no, the opposite of that. Good sir, it is.
That's the absolute opposite of
Welcome
church.
to America, Johnny Goodsir. Basically, this guy came in 1849 and corroborated it. So we're talking, 31 years later? 41 years later?
Mm-hmm. Seems about right.
Yeah. So men on the beach take measurements, record that it has this weird a sea snake has this weird fur all over it. It's got these little flappy wings.
Yeah, why would a basking shark wouldn't have
Flappy wings.
or fur? It might have. You could say it's like
maybe,
dorsal fins, or
maybe
whatever.
pieces rotted away and it made it look like something or whatever. But
So
the fur was the weird part, and the fact that it was recorded to be 10 feet around.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10 feet around, 4 feet wide.
big ass basking shark.
I looked it up. The longest recorded basking shark ever seen was 40 feet long. 15 feet smaller than the Stronsay Beast without its tail.
Oh,
Yeah.
So this is, to me, something that's a lot larger. And then the only reason that we're calling it a decaying basking shark is because 40-something years later, a dude with a fake-ass name comes around and says that, like, it's not, oh, no, you must have gotten it wrong. It's a basking shark. There were, dudes on the beach. We don't trust the denizens of Stronsay to
was this
take
guy
an
wearing
appropriate
all
measurement.
black with a little thing that he shot
Exactly.
that maybe the
they
men
were trying
in
to go
black,
back
man.
and like wipe out the
It was
fact
Will
that we
Smith.
had
It was Will
glowing,
Smith.
hairy, sea serpent-y shit. So
This basking shark, right? You said that the largest basking shark came in at 40 feet long?
correct.
And this thing kind of looked to the point where it had
A piece of it.
scales or...
Well, it had like rough kind of sharky skin, but it was serpentine in shape. Had sort of almost, the drawings make it look kind of like a plesiosaur, like very big, with the little wing, the flappy wings,
Little flappies.
but then no tail, right? So who knows how long the tail was? So we've got a
Right.
55 foot long, which is 15 foot longer than the biggest recorded one that's ever been seen. And a guy comes in again 40 years later after the thing's gone and says, "Oh no, it must have been a basking shark," which to me seems a little. And his name again, John Goodsir. That sounds fake.
Yeah,
like to
come
me,
on.
like I'm not. I
Don't blame
don't
it.
buy
Don't
that
blame
for
it.
a second.
Don't believe the hype.
They were trying to like erase. There was like some weird like peace dragon shit going on in Scotland, and then like the thing died and it got washed up on the beach, and now we don't get to know about it. But
It's definitely related to the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, I was about to
Ness?
say that.
Yeah, it's definitely Nessie. Nessie cousin.
I can see that.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like
Right,
Nessie
the same
cousin.
shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Nessie.
Do
Solved.
you think Nessie's dead? So then they
No, Nessie's dead.
I mean,
No.
I think Nessie is a tulpa, and it's going to live forever, just like Prince and John
I
Lennon
wish
will.
that I had Nessie's gun.
Wow.
Jesse Springfield isn't dead, right?
Nessie
Or,
Springfield.
Rick Springfield.
Jessie Springfield. He's not
Jesse's
singing
girl,
about
right?
Is it the guy
himself.
from Full House?
I wish I had Jessie's girl, but I'm Jesse Springfield, so it's my girl.
Hey, I believe in
That's
non-binary
just meta,
units
exactly.
now. Okay, come on.
So anyway, I'm glad I got to share that story with you guys before this
Me too.
giant, hideous, horrifying, roaring shark beast eats us.